Greetings and welcome to a Drawing Stuff with Paul Yateman video. In this video I am drawing a dragon in the form of a wyvern. I chose June as hashtag Dragon Challenge Month. Perhaps I will change it to hashtag Drawing Dragons as I like the alliteration. I am not sure. As the time lapse of my drawing progresses, I will discuss a little about what I am doing and why. If you stick around to the end, you'll see how the drawing might look following some simple photo manipulation. Hi there, I'm Paul Yateman, a scientist by day and an illustrator and graphic designer by night. Here I draw stuff, mostly original characters. For 2021 I am mostly doing my version of style challenges. This means it is my take on a style without being an identical look. In these videos I show the drawing process that typically occurs after the thumbnail development stage through to the completed work. Typically that involves a pencil sketch, inking with fine liner and finally colouring using markers, pencils and sometimes Photoshop, sometimes Illustrator. Mostly I offer these up as time lapses, mostly. If this sounds like something that would float your boat or provide you with inspiration, sketch ideas or instruction, activate the subscribe button, hit the notification bell and like the video. May as well do it now rather than later. Also, comment with feedback or requests. Okay, getting into the actual drawing, I've done most of the grey pencil sketching and I'm about to move on to the fine liner. Because this is a longer video than usual, as in 10 minutes instead of the usual 3.5, because I'm seeing how these perform compared to the shorter form. I'm probably not going to talk over the top of the entire video, but who knows, I might. So what I did here was I started out with the 0.1 fine liner just to get the main details of the dragon down. I still feel my legs and claws aren't the best, but the plan there is to actually use the viewer's brain to fill in the details. With the design of the dragon scales along the neck and tail, I've used a Giga influence, which is why we have, I guess, pointy bits followed by straps to the neck and the underside. I was thinking if I did that again, I would make them more curved overall, because at the moment it looks like the dragon is separated into two separate cylinders from like the top half and the bottom half. So maybe it's really wide and thick, which would work. If it's supposed to be more cylindrical, which I am thinking it is, that probably doesn't work too well. The wings I've based off a bat. I have a stuffed bat in the bathroom. So with really manky looking eyes, but I've used that as inspiration for the wings here. For the non-strappy bits of the body, I've put in a whole bunch of little half circles to imply that there's scales there. And for the straps I've done parallel lines to sort of give form. I did find with drawing the plating or the bony bits on the tail, it lost a bit in, I guess, translation towards the end of the tail, just because it gets finer and finer. Speaking of which, I did find the previous day I drew sort of a herald type dragon on a B5 pad, and I found that wasn't enough space really to get all the detail in. So today's drawing is done on an A4 sketch pad, and that gives the illustrator, who is me, a lot more room to play with. So once I finished up the 0.1 fine line, I moved on to a thicker one, which typically is either the 0.5 fine liner or the 0.8. I think I'm using the 0.8 here. If we can get a look at the end of the pen, that'll help, but can't see that at the moment. Knows what it is. 0.5, okay. So I'm using the thicker fine liner just to add shadows to the underside of the dragon. He, she or it is top lit. So the plan there is to put darker lines on the underside of everything, even thicker lines into the objects in the foreground, and try to keep the objects in the background either darker or use a lighter line weight, just to help the viewer differentiate what is actually closer to them. When I do the colouring in, I don't think I really hit it with the leg, so the leg is pretty much flush with the body and doesn't have any form. I don't think I applied highlighting to this drawing particularly well today. So that's the fine liner done, so I quickly scan it in and then I'm back with the markers. So I'm going for a flesh tone colour along the, I guess, the belly of the dragon and also the wings. I will use a bit of grey and a bit of browns for that as well, and for the scales it's mostly a mix of blues and blue-greens. And finally I'll scan the picture in again and do some Photoshop manipulation, just where I add a background and some motion blur and darken up the back wing and also reposition the legs. I'm not going to actually show that process, but you'll see the end result of that. So you can either stick around to the end, or you can skip to the thumbs up of approval part of the video if you want. I was particularly happy with this section of the video where I've done veins and then drawn on top of them with a pink marker. I thought that turned out really well. It does get lost a bit when I add more colouring in later. That's something to keep in mind if you're drawing things. Don't go too overboard with markers, and on the flip side of that, don't be too concerned if you lose some detail that you added originally. Most artwork is all they're all works in progress until they're finished. Here I'm adding flesh tones to pretty much everything, going darker on the wings, adding fleshy tones to the scales. Wondering what to do next, going in for more, I think that's a sand, pink there, just gonna miss the spot I think. Trying to basically make all the wings fleshy and trying to give the rest of the dragon enough of the flesh tones to make it look like the wings aren't just tacked on. And also with the gearish sort of banding on the dragon, giving that a different colour scheme to the actual scales, because they're more like fleshy straps than scales in that section of the Wyvern. A fairly loose colouring in, relying on the viewer's brain to fill in the gaps. Adding my blue-green to the dragon. Maybe that would help it blend in if it's an attack dragon from the sky. Maybe. Darker blue-green just because it's complementary to the lighter blue-green. Here's where I try to put some shadowing into the dragon by putting some W3, so that's sort of a brown toned grey. My W3 is running out of ink again, so the W5 to add more shadow. So here I'm trying to de-emphasize the back wing while adding shadows to the front wing. And that little grey bit there on the, I guess the body's supposed to show that the wing maybe is translucent. That's pretty much the dragon there, so I'm going to show you what it looked like after grey lead and inking, which is this one here. So then I scanned the drawing in, which produced the last bit of drawing you saw on screen, which is this. And then I scanned the drawing in again and played around in Photoshop a little bit to add like a background, just different clouds and some motion blur and some darkening up of various areas. And so yeah, that's it for today. So what do you think? How would you have drawn this dragon? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Anywho, if you found this interesting, informative, entertaining, or you were inspired to draw in your own sketchbook and all that stuff, subscribe to my channel, like the video, like it, hated the video, well, hate it as well. So yeah, until next time, you've been watching Drawing Stuff with me, Paul Yateman. Ciao, take care, and happy drawing.